Hey everyone, it's Kelly from Silly Moon Quilting Co. Today we're going to be talking about inside corners and outside corners and how to achieve those nice sharp points you desire when you're ruler quilting. So you can see here I've got Edgy 6, O Canada, our maple leaf ruler, and Twinkle Bee, which is one of our star rulers. It's the mid-size of the 3-star rulers that we have. And I want to talk about what to look for when you're looking at rulers and what that ruler is going to achieve for you, and is it going to give you the sharp point that you're hoping or expecting from it. And I'm going to start by demonstrating with Edgy 6, just so you can see what I mean by a nice sharp corner. So I'll move these two out of the way. And I'm just going to go over here. I'm going to cheat a little bit today and just do some locking stitches so that we don't waste the time pulling up thread, etc. But of course, if this was on a real quilt, I would pull up my thread. So I'm just going to do a couple locking stitches, and I'm going to move my ruler up just a tiny bit there, and I'm going to stitch a few stitches. So what happens is when I get to the corner of the ruler, and of course we round all of our corners, but regardless whether this was a ruler that had a nice sharp point, you'll have to do the same thing, because it won't work, because you're going around the outside of the ruler with a rounded foot. So anytime you're going on the outside of the ruler, you will end up with a sharp, or not a sharp point. It will be a rounded corner. So you can see here, I've got to this point. Now, the only way that I can end up, I'll show you what it looks like if I don't. So if I just come around and I go around the corner, and this is a little bit exaggerated because the corner is round on the ruler. But if that corner wasn't round on the ruler, it would still cause a round in the corner, just because of the nature of traveling on the outside of the ruler. So I'll show you what you can do to combat that if you've got a straight edge ruler such as Edgy 6. So I'm going to do just a couple locking stitches here. And I'm going to stop when I reach the edge of that ruler. And then what I need to do is I need to pull the ruler back towards me, and I need to move it over enough that I've eliminated that corner. So I'm going to put that engraved line, so my first engraved line, which is a 1/4 inch away from that edge, on the line I just stitched. I'm going to take one extra stitch in that corner, or maybe two, and then I'm going to start moving to the side. And you can see the difference there of how you can get a sharper corner rather than going the outside of a ruler. So another really good example of that is with our O Canada ruler, and that's our maple leaf ruler. So I'm going to stitch, I've got a line mark down here, and I'm going to stitch that so you can see it. I'm actually going to stitch it left to right because, of course, with rulers, either direction works. And I find that that makes it a little bit easier for you to be able to see. So I'm going to be starting with the engraved line of the ruler this way here on my marked line on my quilt top, and this line here. So those two lines are what I'm using to line up to make sure I'm nice and square. And I always like to start at the top. I don't know why, I just do. And then I'm going to do a couple locking stitches. And I'll hold my ruler secure. And you'll see here I'm going around that point, but then I'm stopping in that corner, and it's giving me that extra stitch. And again, I'm going around a sharp point, but it's giving me a round. And when I'm inside the ruler, it's giving me a nice sharp point, which works perfectly for a maple leaf, of course, because they're not all pointed. And then you'll really see it when I come around this corner here. And then I'm going to stitch over to my center line. And then, of course, to complete the maple leaf, I'm just going to flip my ruler over, line back up again, top and bottom, and carry on over to the other side. You'll notice with this one that I've got the sticky tape on. This really makes it a whole lot easier to make sure that ruler stays nice and secure. and that we end up with a nice sharp point. So you can see there with that ruler how we've got the sharp points and we've got the rounds, and that translates to being on the inside or the outside of the ruler. So that's why when you look at our star set, so there's 3, there's Twinkle A, B, and C, and the engraved size of the star on there is the actual finished size. So you can see there's the 3 different sizes. But I'm going to show you using Twinkle B, just because I feel it's a little easier to see, why it's so important to make sure of the ruler when you're looking at it. If I were to look at a ruler to create a star that was all the way on the inside, so say for example it was more like our cheesy ruler where it's all on the inside, only some of these points would be sharp, like on the O Canada or the Maple Leaf. We need to make sure that we can do only sharp points if we want to create a nice sharp 5-pointed star, which is why this ruler looks the way it does. And I just want to show you how easy it is to create a perfect star. And of course we're coming into the holiday season, so perfect time to be making stars on quilts. And do a couple locking stitches there, and I'm just going to hold my ruler down and carry along. And then I'm going to rotate my ruler so that the line I just stitched is underneath the engraved line on the ruler. There's an actual YouTube video about all of this and how to use it. I'm just doing this to show you the round and the sharp point of this. So I'm going to turn that just so you can see how it's coming out. So you can see I'm getting nice sharp points. I'm just going to hold that. Another nice sharp point, and I'm going to rotate it again. And then we'll do one more. Putting that engraved line over top of the line I just stitched every time. Make sure that everything ends up nice and square. And then we come back to the point where we started and we end up with a perfect star. So you can see how that's the only way you'll get that nice star where you've got points in all corners. Otherwise, if this was all on the inside, we would end up more like the Maple Leaf where you've got the round. So I hope you found that video helpful on how to get your nice sharp points and what to look for when you're purchasing rulers. So when you get home and you start stitching, it actually does what you want it to do. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments down below, or fire us an email or message us on social media, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you have about our rulers or just ruler quilting in general. Thanks so much for checking us out. We hope that you enjoy your day. Happy stitching.